Douglas Ross.
You know, the First Minister is really struggling with her answers when she accepts that the question is correct. Well, I'm delighted that my questions are appropriate to the First Minister. But what we have heard from every single one of her answers is she stood here on Tuesday and told people, get the vaccine booster appointment now. She told people to do it now on Tuesday. But it's clear, at that point, the First Minister and her government hadn't done the groundwork with health boards prior to her announcement. It led to confusion when the public needed clarity so we could accelerate this booster rollout. Yesterday, a spokesperson for the Scottish Government insisted we will confirm our approach to the vaccine deployment very soon. But we should already have a detailed plan right now, and that could have stopped this mess happening. The SNP Scottish Government needs to show the same urgency to rolling out the booster vaccines as was the case in delivering the first and second doses. There is a backlog of close to 2 million people across Scotland waiting for their jab. I don't know why SNP members don't want to hear this. It's happening in all of our constituencies.
Colleagues, excuse me, Mr Ross. Can we afford members the courtesy of listening to their questions and responses carefully? Thank you. Mr Ross.
The sight of SNP MSPs laughing and shouting down comments from all of our constituents is, I think, very, very telling, because there is a backlog of close to 2 million people in Scotland waiting to get their jab. On these benches, we have been calling for the reopening of mass vaccination centres. Now, if not of the scale of the P&G Live or the Hydro, at least major clinics in town halls and buildings across Scotland. It's surely about time for the First Minister and her government to back our calls so we can roll out the booster vaccines as quickly as possible and guarantee that no one else gets turned away from having these vital jabs.
First Minister.
Well, the small number of people who got turned away, I've set out the reasons for that, and the action that has been taken was in the process of being taken, not just in Scotland but in other parts of the UK, to update guidance. The fact is, and Douglas Ross can go and check this on the public record, the number of people over the past 3 days who got their booster vaccination, many of them within that updated guidance, the majority, the vast majority. But, you know, I accept readily, because I know how important it is that we keep the pace and pick up the pace of this vaccination programme. That's why we consider the Health Secretary speaking to health boards on a daily basis right now. Many of them are putting on extra clinics already. There are large-scale vaccination clinics in many parts of the country. But what I would say to people is Douglas Ross seems to think we're getting this somehow terribly wrong and uniquely wrong. Let me just share with people. We are all trying to work through the numbers of people who are eligible for vaccination as quickly as possible and as soon as possible after the JCVI give us advice. Many people were already eligible by the time the JCVI gave us their original advice. But let me just set out for the public here, and this is publicly available information, on first doses of the over 12 population, 90.9% in Scotland vaccinated, in England 88.5%. Second doses in Scotland 82.6% vaccinated, in England 80.4%. On boosters in Scotland, 36% of the over 12 population vaccinated, in England 32.2%. So are we going as fast as we need to go? We've got to pick up that pace further. But actually, is the approach we are taking in Scotland right now the most successful anywhere in the UK? Yes. And isn't it about time? Douglas Ross, if he won't give the government, and I'm not asking him to give the government any credit, not just in rhetoric but in reality, gave these vaccinators working so hard right across the country the credit they deserve.